Wright warehouse and the previous warehouse. And in fact, the warehouse is the topic of our show. Well, these are the creation of Jane Kins. We'll talk with Tim Abair about a visit to the warehouse from about 100 folks who are members of the Madison Trust for Historic Preservation.
We're here at the 80 German warehouse on Church Street in Richland Center. It is, what's the date today, 21st?
June 21.
June 21. And who are you?
I'm Tim Abair. I am a board member on the 80 German Warehouse Conservancy.
And what event is happening today?
Today is the Madison Trust for Historic Preservation, their annual membership appreciation event. And they approached us because they wanted something different. Excited about this because this is a connection to Madison that we don't typically have. And I'm going to be curious. We're expecting about 75 people, and we're going to be doing tours for all of these people. What I'm excited about is to ask how many of them even knew this building existed. Because I think we're going to find that I am finding this is kind of a well-kept secret, not unintentionally, but it is. And everybody wants a piece of Frank Lloyd Wright. It's a great brand. This is a great building. So, as you know, Ben, we've had quite a bit of activity here in the last 6 to 8 months. We have a Friday night event, and we have a bunch of different venue rentals. We've had wedding receptions, we've had bridal showers, graduation, birthday parties, things of that nature.
You mentioned the kept secret. But people tend to gravitate, I think, toward homes that he has, and homes, churches, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is the only warehouse that he designed, and that's a really great point because, from my perspective, this is a fantastic building. It's not my perspective. It's a fantastic building. If this building was in Madison or Chicago, we'd be having a different discussion because it would be jam-packed with people. It's full of character, but it's just not something that is common knowledge in the Frank Lloyd Wright orbit, which is kind of crazy, and we're doing our best to overcome that. We're 30 minutes from Taliesin, which is one of the two epicenters of Frank Lloyd Wright world. So we have that as a tailwind, expect to kind of make that part of our whole business model because people come from all over the world to visit Taliesin, and so another 30 minutes, come here. And we've had plenty of people from around the globe, literally, come to Taliesin and make the half-hour busloads of people coming over here for the trip.
Yeah, I've been here when I knew in advance that a group from, it's a couple summers ago.
Australia, probably.
Australia, you're right, yes. And then you've had Japanese.
Yeah, France, and the Australian group comes back every year.
Okay.
And it's a tour, and obviously they're coming for Taliesin, but we're always on their list.
Well, for years, people who, they grew up here, they moved away, they said, what on earth, why would anyone want to see a warehouse? But now it has turned into, which we'll see in a second here when you lead me around, what it's really turned into.
Yeah.
Who would have thought 20 years ago?
Well, I can't tell you how many people come into this building and say, I've never been in here before. And they've lived in the area for 25 years. And to your point, there's been no reason to come in here.
Yeah.
And now there's a reason to come in. And I feel like the building has a unique, beautiful exterior, but to me, the real excitement is interior, because it's got so much character. And you probably know this, Ben, but the frieze, which is the cement ornate area around the top of the building, is the kind of signature of this building. So if you ever see a photo of this building, you're going to see the frieze. And it was an experiment by Wright, and this was built in like the late 19 teens. And he was experimenting with things like concrete construction, the frieze, these pillars. And you'll see these in other buildings that he designed, which are infinitely more famous. Guggenheim, Johnson Wax, Enos House.
Johnson Wax with the pillars.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and so I mean, it really did start here. So he's experimenting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's look around a little
Okay.
bit. and-
Well, so if you want to pan to what we're calling the Great Room, this room over the years has been a museum, it's been a gift shop, and we've sort of redecorated it by adding some paneling just in spots where there were cinder block walls before. So it feels finished. We'd like to do a little bit more, but and as you know, Ben, we've got a great friend in town that's loaned us this furniture, which is everything to
Look
us.
at this stuff.
It's phenomenal, just absolutely phenomenal. Don't know where we'd be without it. So about, we all on the board remember the time in January of 2024, we said, let's do something in the building because now we have it finished outside. It was no longer leaking. So we decided on a lounge. Show you what we accomplished, say, in the last, I don't know, year. So here is what used to be a theater. We took the theater out, all the seats out, and kudos to those that installed it because it was installed really well, really difficult to get out. But it served its purpose and it was wonderful. But we just wanted something that was more of a social gathering place. So these walls, if you don't remember, were lime green. There wasn't the paneling that you're seeing, which we just kind of tied it all together. You know, it kind of worked out nicely. Off to your right, we converted this, what used to be an office, into a far more useful bar.
Yeah.
Now, and so we have folks belling up to the bar every Friday night, and last night was no exception. Great time here last night. Good people.
Is that still 3:30?
3:30 to 9? Yeah.
And you've got wine, beer, water, and soda
So,
fountain.
yep. Yeah, and some THC infused stuff and some White Claw kind of stuff. So it's all we don't have is hard alcohol.
Correct.
Other than that, we're good to go.
Okay. I just now noticed those fixtures. I've been here a lot, but where did those come from?
Our good friend locally.
Okay, right. I didn't know he had. Well,
Yeah,
of course he does. He has everything.
Of course. I mean, we had choices. It wasn't like, oh, this is what you got. And is to your point, they fit perfectly. This railing is also courtesy of Michael. And fits perfectly. So, yeah, we're eternally grateful to him for sure.
What is the name of this space?
This is the 1921 AD Lounge.
Okay.
It's a mouthful, but you can call it what you want, but it's basically to drink beer. Should we head out to our new beer garden?
Now it's very warm today, but there's a good breeze for your guests later on.
It is a brutally hot day.
That's a better way to put it. Okay.
So this alley has been here forever. It was part of the original 80 German warehouse. So what we see above the rooftop has been here all along. It was designed for horse and buggy to come through because it was a warehouse. So served its purpose in its day. And we literally in the last 2 weeks have upgraded this to what we're calling our Midway Beer Garden. So nice breeze, as you pointed out, coming through here almost all the time. This is official as of today. So we have officially licensed it for outside seating, and all of the beverages we talked about inside can be taken out here and eaten in situ. So excited about this.
Yeah. Now, have those been closed up? What was the purpose of those? I forgot.
You know, I think that you're talking about the skylights.
Yeah.
I think those were added, and I'm just going to guess about 40 years ago, because I don't think there really would have been a use for them before that. So it's kind of an obscure light, but you can tell there's good lighting back here, even during the day. So without that, it'd be a little more gloomy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're doing tours on all levels today?
Yeah. So tours normally are Sundays, and we're doing tours from 11 in the morning till 3. And we can do tours whenever by appointment, but that's our scheduled time. Today we'll be taking all these folks on all these levels of the building.
Any word on an elevator?
Well,
It's a
stay
wish list.
tuned.
I know. That'll be exciting.
Yeah, we are planning for it. We've hired architects, we've hired consultants to tell us what we need to get. So we kind of have our arms around what we need to get, and we're working on it.
I've been in it, I think with Mike
Meadows, probably.
Meadows
Yeah.
years ago,
Yeah.
and Lana Arpigust, and it was kind of like, you know,
Well, here's
it
the
was
thing.
a freight elevator.
Yeah, it works, but it's a freight elevator, and it's the kind with the cables.
Right, yeah.
And it's called a tiller kind of elevator. And when the guy told me that, I thought he said killer, because I can see it being kind of dangerous. So we actually got some really good news. There is the elevator shaft here, so we don't have to construct a shaft, which probably saves us on the order of $500,000. Still, it's a $500,000 purchase, because now you got to build. You convert this to an elevator. It's going to look like what you and I see in a hotel, or in a hospital. Big, broad, but capable of carrying passengers, not just freight.
So you take the current elevator, or the whatever that, and take
box,
that out,
say.
the
Yeah.
box, put in new cables, all push button, everything.
Right. So it's good. Yeah, it'll be push button. There won't be cables anymore.
That's right.
And so this will take us all the way from the basement, which will add some utility there, every floor, and the rooftop. And so the rooftop is what is the crown jewel of the building. It's high on our list of something to do, we hope, in the next year or two.
Yeah. I haven't been up there for a couple of years, but the view is, you can see quite a bit.
It's phenomenal. And I'm not from here originally, and you've been here longer than I, but I know that used to be utilized, because I've seen photos of people drinking cocktails up there.
Right.
So we're obviously want to be concerned with safety and just get people up there safely and just enjoy the view, because the view really is spectacular.
Yep, the courthouse to our to the west
Yeah.
is probably the nicest,
Yeah,
thing to
it's a
look at.
beautiful building, but we're in the valley, so we see, all the seasons, whether it's fall, whether it's spring, it's beautiful.
Is there anything else to see?
Let's go up to the second floor.
Okay.
Shall we?
It's not bad in here. It's cool.
No, right.
Naturally cool.
Yeah. Does anybody else want to be in on the video? Okay, thanks.
So we're going this way?
Let's go this way.
Oh.
Sorry. So are we rolling?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So just a quick look here, then back towards the great room. I mean, it's a great venue space for us now.
Yeah.
We recently did an appeal to the public, who funded 100 banquet chairs for us. So we are ready for some big groups.
Good.
All right, heading up to the second floor. And the way this building works is, if you see anything that looks like raw concrete or these metal, that's not original equipment. This is stuff that's been added over the years, the history of which is not entirely clear to me. As you know, there are some locals, Mike Meadows namely, and Lon Arbogast in the past, who knew more about this building than anybody else in the world. So we need to hook up with Mike Meadows and get some more information, because he is a wealth of information.
He is.
Quick look out on the veranda. So we're now on the second floor-ish. There's multiple levels. This is a room that A.D. German asked Frank Lloyd Wright to design specifically for A.D. German's sister, Anna. she was a music teacher, and this was to be a room in which she would give lessons. And
This is the nice.
yeah, wow, nice breeze out here.
Oh yes.
This is the veranda, and this is a classic Wright addition to his building. So you're on this veranda, and you have now a view of the frieze, which, as I mentioned, is the signature part of this building. So he made a point of saying, "Here's a great viewing deck, and this really is the best view of the frieze." And it's a spectacular view for sure.
Can you rent just this space?
You're renting this? Yeah.
And it blocks the noise from the
Yeah,
traffic.
yeah. I mean, on a nice fall day, it's beautiful out here.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah. So part of our last 5-year history was $1 million spent on this building to make it, to seal it. Fixing the frieze was high priority because not only was it deteriorating, and then that's not healthy, but it was dangerous because parts were falling off. So we've spent $1 million fixing the frieze, sealing the rooftop, adding windows everywhere above the first floor, HVAC in the basement. And the funny thing is, that's $1 million, and yet nobody would see that we've done that because it's all above ground, and it's just what you have to do.
Yes.
So, I mean, there was no sense doing anything inside till you seal the outside.
Yeah, it's kind of the non-sexy part that you
It's
have
totally
to just
non-sexy
like seal the roof.
Yeah.
Who would know?
Right.
It's boring.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you have to do it.
And we got the building, we were given the building by Glenn and Mary Schott,
Yeah.
and which was fantastic, but because the building hadn't been particularly well maintained for 100 years, and yet it's solid. We've had engineers look at it, do core samples, it's solid. So you got to do the non-sexy $1 million of stuff. And in our first floor, which we looked at today, we probably spent less than $25,000. That's what everybody sees. So that feels like money well spent, but you can't do that until you part with $1 million.
I think the days are over of people saying, "Oh, just tear it down."
Yeah.
And then we don't need another historic parking lot.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Yeah.
we have several of them
Yeah.
in town, but
I think it's we've crossed over that tipping point, and,
Yes.
and I'm just the support from the local community, which plays out on Friday nights, is astonishing for me. I shouldn't be surprised, but I am. It's just crazy how frequently we're bumping in there with live music and lots of guests and booze is flowing.
well, today's event and the name of it again,
Madison Trust for Historic Preservation.
that is huge.
It is, yeah.
That'll spread like wildfire then too.
Yeah, this is, so we just want them here. It isn't even about the money. It's exposure to Madison and elsewhere. We have great board members with great local connections, but we need to get outside of our local community.
Yes.
And I did a webinar for the Frank Lloyd Wright Building Conservancy last week, just to get us out in front of the rest of the orbit, because the Frank Lloyd Wright world will support us financially, as well as just all sorts of resources that they have available.
Right.
So,
And we have a Frank Lloyd Wright building in Richland Center.
yeah, birthplace of Frank Lloyd Wright.
Yep.
And it's the thing that's in your own backyard, so you take it for granted.
Sure, I know.
Yeah.
Well, is anything else to declare, or is that pretty much it? What
Let's
time
look-
do they guess? Let's see. It's 11:47, so you said about 1?
Yeah, but they'll be showing up early. So
Okay, woo.
Yeah.
So what next now?
Let's look at that. Truly, the second floor where we have some photo murals. And I'm gonna close that back
Okay.
door.
I'll let you go. There's an ominous sign on there.
I'm just keeping the cooler air trapped.
Yeah.
I've skipped a floor. This is the third floor.
Oh.
But whatever. You should look at it for sure.
Yep.
Because this is exciting by itself. Well, first of all, when we were given the building, it was absolutely jam-packed with stuff. So the fact that the floor is clean is practically a miracle on itself. But furthermore, just a couple things on this. You see these pillars, they get smaller as we go up. You see these windows are kind of a signature of the building insofar as Wright wanted to maximize wall space because it's a warehouse. So he designed these, and what you no doubt notice, Ben, is the light in here. We have our electric lights on, but honestly, if we didn't, it wouldn't be much different.
Yep.
So when you think about, and this is one of the many things that Wright was fantastic about, was how do you use light? And so this is how he used it. And you see the brick, and a couple of points about the brick is all of these brown bricks are perpendicular to the floor, so they go out 16 inches. And all of these are horizontal, so it ties it together. Was designed to not require HVAC because it's very well insulated. On a day when it's 100 degrees, it's a little tougher, but most days it is very temperate in here.
And I see the windows are on the east and west, which
Yeah.
makes sense,
Yeah.
not north.
Yeah, we got windows.
Well, a couple of them,
Yeah, but he's done it all, you know, and he thought it through. And another thing is to mention that even though this is a warehouse, Wright designed in 1935 a set of alternative plans, which would include restaurants and bars and retail space and dance studios and coffee shops and ice cream parlors and apartments. All of that helps us when we go to get funding because we can say this is an original design.
Yes.
It's pretty important because they don't, you know, we can't put a Blockbuster video in here, not that we would, but this way we can be consistent with what Wright was thinking. So it works out really well.
Do you still have sketches showing, I've seen them before, which show little flags?
Yeah. We have all of Wright's original documents in electronic form, which is phenomenal. And so it gives us lots of options. It's funny that what you mentioned there on the corners of the building, you will see things that cantilever out.
That was the term, yeah.
Yeah, and they are designed for just what you said, lamps and or flagpoles. And I saw a photo once of them with the lights, and it was just absolutely gorgeous with the poles. But then the person told me that was all photoshopped. It never actually existed, but it looks good, and it's something for us to shoot for. So I just would want to mention this is our maker space. So we started in the last few weeks giving various art instruction classes here. So this happens to be a stained glass workshop that we did. We're also doing some art stuff. We've done wine and cheese tasting. We've done other painting classes. So again, for us, it's all about making sure people understand the building's alive, because it is. Stuff's happening.
Yeah, it is.
Let's head, I misled you, this is the third floor. Let's go down to the second.
It seems like there was, in the 70s, they were using the roof, but maybe that's a false.
No, I think that's right. I don't know the particulars. I'm so close to the store. The alternative uses, I mean, there have been, I don't know, 6 different owners over 120 years, a lot of them for a couple of decades.
I remember when it was just shuttered, pretty much.
Oh, I'm pretty sure.
It was a big plywood over the front windows.
Yeah, such a shame. But here we are. So I feel like we're stewards. The Conservancy is the steward of this building. And the board members before us were fantastic. We'd have nothing to talk about today if it wasn't for them. And one day, the current board members are going to hand the baton to the next generation, and they're going to do something else. This is set up, Ben, for today. We do a video when we do our tours. So folks will start here, see a 10-minute video that was done by the Lions Club, I think, in the 70s. Really well done video. Gives folks the genesis of this building. You know, how did A.D. German and Frank Lloyd Wright get together? How did the building start? And then from there, we talk about the history of the building was used as a warehouse by German for about 6 years. And then he lost the building to bankruptcy, and it turned over. And then most recently, as I mentioned, the Schnatz bought it in 2013, specifically to give it to the Conservancy in 2014. So we've owned this building since 2014. You're looking at these are called photo murals. They're from an exhibit that Wright did in the early 50s called 60 Years of Living Architecture. There's about 100 of these. We have made arrangements with the Frank Lloyd Wright Foundation, which is the owner of these. They're going to give them to us over the course of the next month or so. I'm just working on the paperwork. But that is a phenomenal achievement for us, and it shows that we've got a better relationship with the foundation than we've ever had. So, I mean, I've had plenty of people come through here that I think know more about this than I do that say, these photo murals are probably worth more than the building. They're just a phenomenal catch. So what they are is there's about 100 of them, and a lot of people will walk through these and say, oh, I've seen that one. I think that's Wright House in Taliesin. But you'll see Falling Water, you'll see the Guggenheim, you'll see Johnson Wax, and you'll also see drawings of plans that never happened. Wright actually made about 1,000 drawings, maybe about 400 of which ever got built. So this is kind of fun because you're going to find some that I don't think this thing ever got built. It has the look of the Guggenheim, but it's not. So that's kind of fun to walk around and see some things that are recognizable, Taliesin West, and things that are not so recognizable. So
I saw the Johnson Wax. My dad's from Racine, so we got a tour of that once a long time ago, I think.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal. I mean, it's really.
Is it still it's still used as an office building?
Yeah. I mean, this one is probably the most famous. This is Falling Water.
Yeah, I've never been there.
I mean, but as you said earlier, like most of what Wright designed were personal residences. So this is a kind of a weird building because he didn't do warehouses. We're special that way. And like I say, put this building in Madison, it's a different story.
Yep.
I'm not going to take you on the 4th floor or the rooftop just because.
Well, thank you.
It's brutally hot up there.
Yeah.
But the 4th floor is spectacular. It's the frieze, so there's even more light there. And then we've talked about the rooftop as being also spectacular.
Well, good. It's getting to be, it's almost noon.
Yeah.
So they're going to start
I should be
arriving.
down there.
So I should
Greet
probably
people.
get out of here. Yeah, you could. Greet
Thanks for
them.
your time, Ben.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
This has been great.
No, I didn't. Yeah, because the square thing's here.
The girl that worked for him, she was the general manager of the chop house. And one of the so, hey, do you upsell and have a private chef here for your bus? That's great. Gives them the elevates the experience with the general product. That could be easy.
You can go either way. Tim? Well, thank you for joining us, and we'll have something new for you next time.